Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bayou Ballers podcast. We are back for another episode. I'm your host, Tay. My co-host over there, Trey, man. How you doing today, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just, you showed up. Though we would be a little bit more excited coming into this week, but it is what it is.
Yes, my guy said he doing good, but as y'all hear, he don't sound too good. We don't got too much bass in the voice today because we all were shocked. We're gonna talk about the Saints draft. We're gonna get that out the way first, and we also gonna touch on the NBA playoffs. Man, they got a lot of stuff going on right now. Some shockers, some sad injury news in Milwaukee. But first off, and if y'all, I know it's kind of like irrelevant now since the draft is over, but y'all gotta go tune into my guy Trey podcast. We did a mock draft over that. What this is like your third year in a row doing it?
Yeah, 30 in a row doing it.
Third year in a row. The No Disrespect podcast. Go check them out. I don't think did any of us get a pick right. Hit a pick.
I don't think.
Did you look back?
I mean, outside of whoever picked Cam Ward, I think that.
Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter.
No, remember, that didn't go either. No,
I had the Giants.
Yeah,
so I
you pictured there, yeah. So nobody hit
but,
that.
they got
the Travis Hunter pick messed everything up. The trade.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, I ain't even hit that pick, and I was the second pick. So I don't think none of us hit a pick. But hey, trades happened and it shook things up. But y'all go check that out, man. Even though the draft is over. But we got some sad news to get into. If you want to look at it, sad. But a lot of Saints fans were disappointed with the Saints' first two draft picks. With Kelvin Banks out of Texas and mainly Tyler Shough. With Shador hanging up there. I don't want to make this about Shador because it's about the Saints, but a lot of people prefer Shador. A lot of people prefer, like you, Milroe, any other quarterback outside of Shough because he was a real draft riser. This last month, as Shador was a faller, Shough was a riser. But the first pick, Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
We signed a left guard. If you could recall his name from, we talked about it in the
Dylan Radins.
Dylan Radin. We signed a left guard.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin Banks is a left tackle.
He is.
So it's either he's gonna start, but we have Fuanga, who was left tackle, first round pick last year.
Right.
So where is he gonna go on the line? Trevor Penning was the right tackle.
Right.
So what are they gonna do?
And bro, that right there is why I question the pick, right? I mean, and I mentioned in my podcast today too, of when we drafted Andres Pete, when we drafted Ryan Ramczyk, when we drafted Cesar Ruiz, we knew exactly what they were going to be. Andres Pete gets drafted. Hey, yeah, he played left tackle in college. He playing left guard for us.
Right.
Ryan Ramczyk. Hey, he came in as a left tackle, but we got a left tackle. We're putting him at right tackle.
Yes.
Cesar Ruiz, and I remember when he got drafted, he was like, why the hell we drafted a center when we just drafted Eric McCoy?
Right.
And he had just made the all-rookie team as a center. So we initially was like, what the hell are the Saints doing? What does Sean Payton do immediately in the presser? Oh, we drafted Cesar Ruiz to play guard, to find roles.
Mm-hmm.
What does Coach Kellen Moore say when we asked about Kelvin Banks? Oh, well, I mean, he's a talented player. I mean, he definitely play tackle, but he can play anywhere. We're going to put the best 5. Top 10
like
pick.
Bro, like, come on. We not
top 10
like,
pick.
We need to be we need day one starters.
Right. We need day one starters. And
not shuffling a line.
Exactly. In top 10 picks, you got to tell me this is what he going to be.
Right.
Like everybody else got to move around. Like, this is what he gonna do. So had he come in and say, "Oh, he playing left tackle," all right, now we got to figure out what happens to Fuaga and Trevor Penning. If you say, "Oh, he playing right tackle," okay, now we got to figure out what's happening to Trevor Penning.
Yeah, like
if he say left guard, then it's like, okay, well, why are we taking top-notch offensive tackle, who was the best offensive tackle in college football last year,
moving him to guard?
And moving him to guard.
This is what,
or man, even for that matter, you let him. You replace him with Trevor Penning. Okay, why are we replacing Trevor Penning when he improved? We moved him from left tackle.
His best year.
He improved. Why not bank on that improvement? Because if you move off from Trevor Penning or you try to make him be a guard or whatever, and let's say you end up moving on, you didn't just waste the 2 picks you used to get Trevor Penning because you traded a first round pick to get him. You just wasted another one with this pick because
Yes.
why? Like why would you do that? And if we're gonna put Kelvin Banks at guard, right? Or hell, even if we're gonna put Trevor Penning at guard, why would we, with as many good offensive guards in this draft class, that's when
Reach.
it becomes a reach, right? Like you could have traded back, you could have got more picks, you could have got guys that actually played offensive guard
This
in
is
college football to be your starting guard. But now again, what we like to do is take people from one position where they're really good at and force them to do something else. And then we're like, okay, well, why aren't they getting it? Well, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Like
yes.
even Trevor going from left to right, that wasn't easy. Fuaga, who played right tackle in college, going from right to left. And now you telling me after he had a top 5 year statistically, now you telling me he got to go move to the right? Like that's
Um,
not easy.
it's
So
not
I
at all.
don't get it. So for me, it was I didn't understand the pick. I didn't understand the vision. And in the presser, the head coach had an opportunity to put it to fill us in on
Clarify.
that vision, and he didn't do it. He just said,
Yes.
we gonna see. We gonna have everybody competing, and we just gonna put the best 5."
This
Man.
is what I think. And sorry about that, y'all. I had a ticker rolling down the screen of Carmelo Anthony, Hall of Fame of first ballot.
Hey, we still love Melo. You
Still,
gotta
yeah, we
celebrate.
still love you, Mello. But I agree with most you said. Well, probably everything you said on this pick. And I have a pet peeve of the Saints drafting players and not putting them at their position that they played in.
Right.
This is not even. This is going back. Like the Saints have a habit of drafting a player and not playing them at their position they played in college, defense and offense, where they
Mhm.
excel at. The dude was a great tackle in college. Now you're gonna put him in a difficult position where he has to probably move the guard or go to the right. I don't know if
Right
it's
side.
right side, or you're gonna flip Fuanga, who had a great rookie season, from the left tackle and put him on the right side. So I'm like drafting, like you said, bet whatever they say, the best 5 going to get on the field. That doesn't always work. This is not basketball. This is not
Right.
basketball. We can't just put the best 5 on the line and be like, oh yeah, let's go. He's not used to playing center or guard. Well, he ain't gonna play center. He's not used to playing guard. That's something
Mhm.
he's gonna have to relearn techniques, being in the inside, not on the outside, having help to his inside now, playing off the
Mhm.
center. So it's a kind of a pick where you like, really?
Right.
Especially after the Trevor Penning situation. We had him at guard, like you said with the Andrews Pete, had him at guard, had him at tackle, shuffle them guys around. I think you're impeding their progress by keep moving them in and out. Like
Mhm.
Trevor Penning had it. We ain't gonna say we can say his best year, even though his first 2 years were lackluster because
Yeah.
of the moving in and out, the holding, the grabbing, things
Right.
like injuries. So I think you should, like you said, trust in him to improve, trust in your system, trust in the coaches you brought in to help
Mhm.
him improve more. Obviously, he has talent.
Yeah.
So I don't think moving him would help anything.
Mhm.
If it does move him, I think it's like a wasted pick because you're not gonna have all these guys. You just signed the left guard to play left guard,
Yeah.
obviously.
And albeit it's a 1 year deal, but it's like, what are we doing? Like in my mind, I thought that signing meant, okay, we're gonna kind of get some veteran leadership at that left guard position,
Mm-hmm.
and you helping Fuaga out, because I think in the games where he struggled, it was when can't remember my boy that we got from Chicago, when he got injured and we was just throwing anybody at left guard. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for a rookie, like he already a rookie, trying to figure out if he can't trust the guy that's on side of him. So like now we gonna put a rookie there, or we gonna have a Trevor Penning just learning the position, or are you? I mean, are we expecting Trevor to just, if he learns the position at guard? I don't think he's going to be much better at guard than Will Clapp is, who's played that, or Nick Saldivari, who's played that, or Dylan Radens, who's
I
played
will
that.
hope Trevor Penning is
He's
better
setting
than
them
all
up.
those guys. I
I
will hope
think
he's better
talent
than all those
wise, right?
guys.
But if you put me at a position I never played before,
Mm-hmm.
and then saying, oh well, yeah, we want you to learn this new position because you have the talent profile and the physical profile. But I'm playing against guys that know that terminology, that know the steps, that know what they need to be looking for to protect the tackle and to protect the
Mm-hmm.
center. That's asking a lot too. And I think
Yeah,
that's probably put them in a bad position.
I agree. And maybe, hey, maybe the Saints already knew. They already
Mhm.
told Trevor Penny, you're gonna be moving to guard.
They did find his
And
fifth option.
maybe that suits him better because obviously he holds a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a physical, he's a mauler, he's a better run blocker than a pass blocker, obviously,
Mhm.
with his foot speed on the edge. So maybe that would be beneficial for him, but we don't know.
Right.
And if it is, that the shuffling, obviously Kellen Moore didn't pick Trevor Penny, but obviously that's just another offensive line miss.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't work out on the line. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. What did you expect them to pick there? I know we all tired of the defensive end picks. We cannot hit on that. I don't care if it's a new coaching staff. Mickey Loomis is
Yeah.
still there. We cannot hit on defensive line picks. So
Yeah.
what you want?
I would say
What did you
this.
want them to pick there?
So I was thinking quarterback. I thought with Shador falling, I thought that was the pick at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did feel like a Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart. Even if I was like, if you really want them that bad, pick them at 9. But to me, that wasn't really where they should be from a value standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that'd be Shador Sanders. I felt like he was the second best quarterback in the class. Thought he was a top 10 to 15 prospect, quarterback wise. But I get it. You might say, okay, well, I don't really want to do the quarterback. Plus, Shador is
Yep.
somebody we didn't do a ton of homework on. Okay, well, Tyler Warren, tight end position, but playmaker. If you want to go offense, Ted had just gone off the board at 8, so I get it
Mm-hmm.
that he probably would have been the pick at that
Mm-hmm.
X position, which is what we needed. So I was thinking about a Tyler Warren at that position, but really, man, like Jalen Walker, what to me was becoming so hard to pass up on. He ends up going to the Falcons, right? And I get it, he's a little bit of a tweener, and so I think when you look at your board, I probably know what I can do with a Calvin Banks, whether that's at offensive tackle or guard. I know where I can develop him at. Whereas I think Jalen Walker, you're still probably going to be figuring out by year 2 or 3 exactly what is he supposed to be. He's supposed to be a linebacker. He's supposed to be an edge rusher. Like what is his role?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe at the 9th pick, maybe that's a little bit too rich for a guy like that. But somebody his talent. I thought maybe a Mike Green who ended up going, I think in the 2nd round would have been somebody good. James Pierce Jr., who went to the latter part of the 1st round, thought would have been somebody good. Just thinking about guys on the edge that you really needed an edge because we don't have enough depth there. And I think you could have gotten a difference maker at that position.
Mm-hmm.
I think even a tweener like Jalen Walker or Jahad Campbell, who ended up going to the Eagles, because of course he did. Like guys like that could have been really, really good while you're trying to fill in. So it's like, hey, he might not start at the middle line or at the middle linebacker because we got P. Warner and we got DeMario Davis holding it down. So we're gonna put you at edge and get you involved.
Mm-hmm.
And DeMario retires, we put the green dot on you. You take over that position. Or if we say, hey, there's a top middle linebacker coming out in next year's class, and we want to exclusively have you at edge. Those are guys you could have utilized. So I think the way to say it is, in my mind, I thought at 9 you were going quarterback or best player available, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think we went either
Okay.
at 9. I don't think Big Calvin Banks was the best player available. I think he was the best offensive lineman and
Mm-hmm.
definitely best offensive tackle available, but I did not think that he was the best player available. And so that was kind of, I guess, my level of disappointment was
Mm-hmm.
you either go BPA or quarterback, and you didn't do anything. And what made it worse was we didn't have a plan. If Kellen Moore says, "Oh, we draft him, he's going to be off right or left tackle, or he's going to be left guard," I could have been upset with the value of saying, "Oh, well, why we pick a guard? We could have got somebody later." But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, now I know what I can expect from the guy. I guess
And
we got to wait until training camp preseason really to know
to see if
how
he
we
gonna start.
operate, see how we operate in this thing. Like
Yes,
that's the bad part.
and I want to say this. This is not when the fans are reacting to this pick. We are not reacting to Calvin Banks being a bad player.
Right.
being a reach or something like that. We're reacting to why are we picking this position? We're not
Yeah.
reacting to like, oh, he's a bad player as basically like the second round pick. We're not reacting
Mhm.
like that way. We reacting to why is this the pick, the positional pick? Which I'm
Mhm.
gonna read a little bit before we move off Calvin Banks. Y'all see I got the screen pulled up by all the
Mhm.
Saints draft picks. Something read on NewOrleansSaints.com.
Mhm.
He won a Lombardi Award, Outland Trophy, and Banks only allowed 1 sack in each of his last 2 seasons as he anchored one of the top pass blocking units in the
Mhm.
country. So 2 sacks in the last 2 years. Obviously that gets a little murky of how they do it. Probably of how they count like sacks. Same way they count like cornerback. How many catches he gave up. When you're in a zone, it
Right.
gets a little bit fishy. So you never know
Right.
like that. But obviously he was a good tackle in college.
Mhm.
Also appreciate y'all tuning into the live. So y'all we got 13 people in here watching right now. We always appreciate that. Drop y'all comments, likes, and keep supporting the pod. We're gonna move on to the infamous second round pick, which is the Saints drafting your guy, a quarterback you wanted
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And we drafted Mr. Tyler Shough.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's down here. Here we go, right
There
here.
you go.
Tyler Shough, quarterback, Louisville. Hey, hopefully winds up like Lamar Jackson. I'll try to read a little bit on his vitals and his 6'4", super senior. You don't say super
Mhm.
senior, but I'm gonna call him super senior.
That's what he is.
From Chandler, Arizona, completed a college career from Oregon, Texas Tech, and Louisville.
Mhm.
Former 4-star recruit. Honorable mention all ACC honors in 2024 while
Yeah.
being named one of the 3 national comeback players of the year because he was injury riddled.
Mhm.
And led a Louisville team to 8-4 as a starter. He threw for a career high 3,195 yards, 23 touchdowns in 2024. Ran a 4.640 dash, 40-yard dash. I'm tripping. And a 32 inch vert at the 2025
Mhm.
combine. At least we have a dual threat quarterback, right?
No, we don't actually. And that's the funny part. And while you're scrolling, and look, I'm gonna say this from both sides. There are people that hate Tyler Shough that never saw him play, but there's
Mhm.
definitely people that was trying to fake the love for Tyler Shough that never saw him play. But all
Yes,
you
they
can do,
trying to this the
right?
my fault,
They're
Trey, but
playing
this
catch up. They
yeah,
playing catch up because he wasn't a name that you didn't hear for a couple weeks. So if
yep.
you ain't
Then you
watching, now
first
you're
do your
trying to
search.
watch. You're trying to
Yep.
pick and piece games and stuff. And look,
Yep.
I ain't saying I'm an expert, bro, but I've been watching the guy since Oregon, like look, full games.
Mhm.
And injuries aside, like there's a level of inconsistency as a passer, especially when, like, bro, you know my philosophy on super senior quarterbacks. To
Mhm.
me, you gotta look like a man amongst boys, and we've seen that. And that doesn't mean they're always going to work out because my also belief is what their ceiling, like wherever you see them at and draft them at, that's who they are.
Mhm.
Throw development out the window, it ain't happening. Like this is who you get. And if you're telling me that his last year at Louisville, if that's what I'm supposed to be excited about as a New Orleans Saints fan,
Mhm.
I can't get behind that. And like Kenny Pickett, dominant year. Where is he? He's on his third team, probably about to get cut again because they drafted 2 quarterbacks and brought in Joe Flacco.
Oh, I think he
Mac,
did. I think he
yeah,
did get cut, huh?
he didn't get cut yet,
Oh, or was it
but Mac
declined as
Jones
option?
is
Yeah.
Mac Jones on his third team. Yeah, he
Mhm.
won Rookie of the Year, but guess what? He could never elevate past the performance he had his rookie year
Mhm.
because the skill set he came in with, because he had been in college so long and developed whatever that was, that's who he is. I think that, I mean, Cam Ward's probably going to see the same thing. That he can be a really good quarterback, but it might be younger prospects in this draft class that end up surpassing them because there's still elements to their game that has to grow, and that's just my
Mhm.
philosophy on that. But the injuries and then a so-so year, like we're talking about a Louisville team that was a year ago before he took over was in the ACC championship with Jack Plummer as their head coach or as their quarterback. We're talking about games in Louisville where a lot of times the only reason why he had a lot of passing yards was because they were down and he had to throw the ball.
Mhm.
But in even games, they ran the ball. That's Louisville's style. They want to take the game out of the quarterback's hands. They want to lean on their running game and just make some good plays downfield. So with his big arm, he can definitely do that. But
Mm-hmm.
like 7 years in, and like that's what you give me a career year is 3,100 yards, 23
Hey,
touchdowns.
now the people will say, countering you is he only spent 7 years because he was
Yeah,
injured, and that's a fair point. So, we do have. I think I pulled it down.
bro.
Let me
The
add
way
it
I
to the
said it, bro,
page.
is like drafting an injury prone player to our organization
To
is like
start,
putting it's like putting Pookie in the crack house, bro, and not expecting him to relapse. Like,
yes,
what are we doing?
this is
Like we
his career.
that's all his numbers, right?
Yeah, from high school, 2018 he
Mm-hmm.
redshirted, played briefly in 3 games. 2019 served as the backup. 2020 he started all 7 games
Mm-hmm.
and got the guys to the Fiesta Bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, 2021
Mm-hmm.
started 4 games before suffering a broken collarbone. I think he landed on that on a tackle, I believe, on a sack. And he was done for the year.
Well,
2022
yeah.
appeared in 7 games, 5 starts, perfect 5-0, passed for 1,307 touchdowns, earned MVP honors in Texas Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2023
Mm-hmm.
injured again, limited to 4 games due to injury, passing for 750 yards, basically 7 touchdowns. Not bad. Opened the year on the Maxwell Award and Tyler Rose Award watch
Mm-hmm.
list. Named to the Shrine Bowl 1,000 list. Showed flashes of high level before injury setbacks in his last year, which we touched on already. Um, does
Yeah, like you said,
Tyler
too.
Show start? You had a tweet where you said Derek Carr might shoot himself
Well,
up in that
I'm gonna
shoulder
say
and
this.
try to come
Yeah,
back.
I think he'll be given every opportunity to start because of where he was picked.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is a quarterback being picked at in the second round as opposed to the first round, there's not the same level of guarantees and job
Mhm.
security. Um, and the worst part about it, I think you got a shorter version of him on your roster already that we already saw get NFL experience, albeit no wins, 6 losses. So, there's been discussions of okay, him and Spencer Rattler are going to be battling too, and of course you think, well, why would you pick a quarterback
If he
that
gonna be
has to
battling,
matter? And I'll tell you, if a Jalen Milroe gets drafted, if a Shador Sanders gets drafted, there isn't a battle here. That's their job. Like we don't have time to do the things like you already getting notifications that
mhm,
that Spencer Rattler is getting traded, much like Seattle Seahawks draft Jalen Milroe in the third round. And guess what? They trade what's my boy from North Carolina got drafted by Washington and then went to Seattle. Trying to think of his name, quarterback.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna pull him up. I'm gonna pull him
But
up while you go ahead.
but Sam Howell, there it is. They just
All right.
traded him to the Vikings.
Oh, the
That's
gunslinger.
right. That's what you do. You sign Sam Darnold. You could have easily continued to develop Sam Howell behind him because Sam Howell's not old at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Nah, we drafted Jalen Milroe third round. We want to develop this guy. Sorry, Sam, you got to go." That was immediate.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would have saw something similar if Shadur Sanders or Jalen Milroe or even a Jackson Dart, if the Giants hadn't jumped up and got him in the first round. I think any of those quarterbacks get added, you're getting rid of a Spencer Rattler. Derek Carr is definitely not giving a sermon on the mount and talking about, hey, we're good, we're in a good place, and we're going to figure it out. And where I am, I think his career as a New Orleans Saint is over. And then you're starting to look at the veteran quarterback market to bring somebody in, and you go that way. But you bring a guy like Tyler Shough that has the like. First of all, you can't trade Spencer Rattler because your quarterback one, technically speaking, is already injured and you just drafted an injury-prone quarterback, so you kind
Can
of got to keep him.
Can I
You
ask you
almost,
this?
yeah,
For drafting the guy, we know he's gonna get the chance to start. He's gonna get the
yeah,
chance to compete.
mm-hmm.
Um, we supposed to be done with this Derek Carr saga roller coaster that's been going on. We
Mm-hmm.
still don't know what's the procedure that's gonna go on with the show. What's going on with his shoulder? We still don't know what route he
We
will
don't.
take.
Right.
It's kind of like the Embiid route where it's like we're gonna wait and see if he needs surgery or not. Um, so I assume Aaron Rodgers will go to the Steelers. They did not draft a
Yes.
quarterback at all.
They
Not
drafted
even
Will Howard
Will Howard from
in the
Ohio
sixth
State.
round, I think. Yeah.
And I'm sure he can compete with Mason Rudolph probably. uh, but seems like Mike Tomlin loves Mason Rudolph. But all signs point to Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. It's not
Mhm.
too many other quarterback spots open, but as training camp comes around, we know guys get hurt. We see
Yeah.
these injuries all the time, and the backup quarterback has been so important throughout these last few years in the NFL because guys are getting hurt left and right now.
Mhm.
Is Derek Carr on the Saints throughout for week 1?
As of now, man, I still would say no.
Mhm,
I think he's either going to have the surgery
mhm,
and call it a year, or they're going to figure out a pathway to get them to another team.
mhm.
And here's the thing: we assume the Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh, right? But who knows? Maybe he never answers
Yes,
that
sir.
call. Maybe he decides he wants to retire,
And I'm not mad at
and
that.
right, and I mean he has every right to, right? I mean, but I don't think Pittsburgh is going to go with Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Will Howard, the winner of that competition. At least I don't think you can. A guy
You
like
talking about
T.J. Watt, you can't go to him and say, "Yeah, this is what we rolling out with on offense." Like
you talking
there's
about
no
the
way.
running back, Skylar Thomas? You know, he
No,
play
I
like a
mean
running
that's all
back,
he
brother.
does. That's all he does. I mean, he doesn't throw.
um,
He's either running for his life. So
Let me ask you
that's
this:
gonna
if
be his
Rodgers
destination.
does that, is
Mhm.
Derek Carr the first pick? Because they have Kirk Cousins out there.
They do. And that's what that's the thing. It's
I would
because
definitely
now we're
rather
talking about
Cousins than
health, right?
Carr.
Because we still don't know how healthy Kirk Cousins is because
Well, it's been a year though,
he also mentioned that he was hurt throughout the year and dealing
and
with something.
that's
So
obvious though, right?
yeah,
The mobility, coming back as
yeah.
fast
But
as
I
he
mean the shoulder.
can.
So we already knew
Oh,
the
he said his
Achilles, right?
shoulder.
Yeah. So he was
Oh, all
dealing with
right,
a
just
shoulder injury
different.
too. He said, I believe he said he hurt it against us. He
Okay.
heard it. He heard it against the Saints, and he had been playing through it. And that's when they moved on from him or whatever and put Michael
Mhm.
Penix Jr. in the game. So we don't know how he's coming back from that as well as the Achilles. So that's two older quarterbacks with some injury issues the past couple of years that we got to figure out now. So I don't know. I would choose Kirk Cousins over Derek Carr, but
I think most
yeah,
people
yeah.
would I should say, because you know what you're gonna get from Kirk. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get some big plays. You're gonna get some
Mm-hmm.
boneheaded plays, but he does produce. I should say that. I want to move on to the rest of the Saints draft class.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I saw on Twitter as well. Y'all go follow my guy Trey. He said you like day 3 of the draft for the
Mm-hmm.
Saints more than any other thing
Yeah.
from the draft. And I'm not gonna go well, you know what? I can go one by one with these guys. I could have pulled them all up. And I will first pick in the 3rd round Vernon Broughton, D
Mm-hmm.
tackle. I'm not too familiar with the D tackle from Texas. Obviously, he
Mm-hmm.
has some same team. They went back to Texas with Calvin Banks.
Yeah.
And this is a position of need
Yeah.
as well because we had nobody to stop the run. Ryan Brzee was pretty good as picking up sacks.
Mm-hmm.
But really didn't have too much help in the inside and really didn't stand out on our run defense. Who else we had it inside? Did we still have Nathan Shepard
We had Nathan Shepard. We still have them actually. We still have Nathan
and
Shepard. We still have
Khalil Saunders? He
yeah,
was I like him as a depth piece though. He makes plays
yeah.
sometimes. But and we also drafted our guy last year who we were very high on. Didn't see the field too many times though.
Mhm.
I'm trying to recall his name.
I
Damn,
know what you're talking about.
D
Decent
tackle,
tackle.
but we could touch on Vernon Broughton. What you thought of this pick, my guy?
Uh, it's not that I'm unhappy with the pick,
Mm-hmm.
because decent tackle was something we could improve upon, especially from a youth standpoint. Because
Yes.
right now, Brazil is you're one of your younger defensive tackles, and you have Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders, and Gottschall as the other
Mm-hmm.
defensive tackles. Oh, and you
Right.
have my guy we traded from Washington or for with Washington to get Cameron. His name's escaping me right now. So you could always use that. You get a guy that's familiar with our defensive line coach, Coach Davis.
Mhm.
So that helps a lot. 6'5", can definitely be a good run stopper. We saw that with the Texas Longhorn unit last year. But as you can
Mhm.
see, 4 sacks. So knowing how to get to the quarterback, he has what I like to say a little wiggle to him at 6'5", 300 pounds. So he can help you in both areas, not necessarily one dimensional, which is a really good thing to have as you're starting to build your trenches out. I think what hurt me, right, is that we had some really good edge prospects as well as cornerback prospects
Mhm.
that immediately went off the board. Now I think we made up the cornerback thing by getting Quincy Riley, but you lost out on the Landon Jackson is one that immediately went off the board,
Mhm.
and I felt like edge was probably more of a need because we don't have any true edges. Like you have true defensive tackles and you have some defensive ends that can play defensive tackle on your
Mhm.
roster. We don't really have a guy that's truly an authentic stand-up rusher. Chase Young can do it. Carl
Yeah.
Granderson can do it. Isaiah Foskey can do it. But then who else?
Well,
We
hopefully
don't have
that could be Foskey.
yeah, but then that's only three guys, and some of the better teams they have guys that can constantly rotate. Like
Mhm.
I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but look at what the Eagles did or are doing at the edge position. They
Mhm.
already had edges on the roster. They signed 3 or 4 more in free agency. They drafted 2 more in the draft. Just continuously trying to get those young guys at that edge position.
Mhm.
And I think this was a perfect time to maybe even take a gamble on the edge that hey, this guy can really rush the passer, but there's some things, some technique things I want to fix. So I'll put them in situations as opposed to them being my starter, but put them in enough situations to succeed. And now I can possibly move off of an older player or a player like Carl Granderson, who he got his payday, but that payday is probably going to be due up again. And maybe you can move off of him before you have to pay him again. So,
I, I'll,
but
I'll
go
I'll
ahead.
say this about that last comment. What you were saying about
Mhm.
um I'm trying to recall. I'll have to paraphrase because I don't have it verbatim. I think you just said having somebody on it. Taking a defensive end, taking a gamble on a guy who can rush the passer, but needs some work with fixing technique and things like that.
Mhm.
We did that in the second round last year with Foskey. I don't think we should go
A couple
back
years
with
ago,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, a couple years ago, with Foskey, I don't think we should go back when we haven't shown we can develop these guys, whether it's from injuries
Mhm.
or just them not working out, as we always talk about the guys we drafted up there. But
Mhm.
maybe if we put Foskey on the field on third downs and let him rush the passer,
Right.
we can see what he have. Like obviously it's not it's a new coaching staff, so maybe he'll get
Mhm.
a fair shot at that defensive end spot. New Brandon Staley, new defensive coordinator, all that.
Mhm.
So before we gamble on another guy at DN who's not all the way there, let's see if we can get our guy who we already drafted on the field before we decline
Mhm.
his option and we waste another pick right there. Just put him on the field. Hey, you might not, you might never know. He might produce like Zach Bond for the Eagles.
Mhm.
Maybe, maybe. But that's my thoughts on it, man. I don't mind the defensive tackle pick because we just got killed during the run, man. We had a long streak of not giving up 100 yards, and just to see our defense getting ran on like just back to back, like 7 plays in a row with
Mhm.
positive yardage, not like 3 or 2 yards, 7 yard chunks, 6 yard chunks. Like that's
Mhm.
horrible to watch as a fan, and it's depleting as a defense to just keep getting ran on all the time. Um,
Yeah.
any last comments before we move on
I'll
topic?
just say this because before we move off from the top three, I will say this. I think with so many question marks from the fan base standpoint with these guys, and thinking about the players that were passed up on to
Mhm.
get them, these guys got to play.
All
Like
right.
Kelvin Banks, he better be somewhere on that offensive line, getting me
Yes.
good reps.
Week
Tyler
one.
Shuck, look, you better
Play.
win the competition. I don't even
I
care
don't
if
care.
Derek Carr comes
Play.
back. I don't even care if Derek Carr comes back. You got to win the competition because you're 26. You ain't 22. You ain't 21, 22.
Trey.
Like, well, we can wait. Like, no, you got to play.
Trey.
I need to see
He
that
need to
happen.
be starting week one.
He needs to
He need to
be.
be starting.
He
I don't
needs to
give a
be. And
damn
if
what's
he
going
not,
on.
but here's the thing: they not going to put him in. Like, if he ain't ready, they not gonna put him in because
What you
like
mean
if
not
I
ready?
will
He
say
should
this,
be ready.
I
That's
will
not the
say this.
question.
He
He
should
should
be.
be
But hey,
ready.
guess what? If they do a competition, a true competition, and
Right.
Spencer Rattler is more ready to be the starting quarterback than he is, you just wait. Like you wasted that second round pick. Like I don't
Yes.
care if Spencer Rattler comes in and he is terrible the first 5 6 games. You end up going to Shuck and he terrible for another 4 or 5, and then we just find ourselves being able to pick another quarterback next year. Like at the very least, with Spencer Rattler, I can say, man, that was a 5th round pick. We gave that 2 tries. It didn't work out.
Right.
2nd round pick, premium pick, and based on who was available that I gave up. Like not just quarterbacks like Shador Sanders, Jalen Milroe being available. We had wide receiver options like Jalen Royals, Alec Ayomanor. We had Harold
We
Fanning
had
Jr.,
we had
Gunnar
Will
Helm.
Johnson.
You had Will Johnson. You had Donovan Ezeraiku. You had Xavier White. Like you had Makuba from Texas, safety. Like you had phenomenal prospects that you passed up for this guy. So like I know we're gonna try to talk about we're gonna compare him to the quarterbacks that he got picked over, right? But if we think about the skill players on offense and defense that we could have got on an offense that needs it and a defense that needs it for a guy that doesn't even win the competition, that's a wasted pick. And then Burrows or Broughton, he just has to. I wouldn't say he has to start, but he has to be in the rotation. Like you got
He
to
has
get
to
some
play. He has
snaps.
to play a good.
You
He has
know,
to play about 30 to 40 snaps a game.
yeah. Look, I say even get start 30-40% of the snaps. I'm fine with
Okay.
that, and
Okay.
then you work your way up. Because I think he has some development too, but being with his college coach is going to be beneficial for him. I hope so. Want to see how that goes, but the rest of the picks, this is my favorite part because I loved every single one. These were all
Okay.
hits as far as I'm concerned. I loved every
Um.
single one.
Yeah. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in as well. Man, appreciate y'all. We got 16 of y'all in here. Drop some comments if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter. Like the video up. Um. This was supposed to be us touching on the NBA as well, but it looks like this a whole Saints dedicated draft recap. So we gonna go to our next third round pick, Jonas Sanker, safety from Virginia. You love this pick. Looks like
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts twin. What's
He
your
does
thoughts
look
on
like that.
it? What's your thoughts on Jonas Sanker and this pick
Look.
at
Well, first and
93?
foremost, I say, look, I get it. People have said he got picked over Xavier Watts, who went a few picks later, because Xavier Watts would probably be the better safety prospect,
Mm-hmm.
especially from a ball hawk. He can take the ball away type of thing. I agree. But what was the one of the
Tackling,
things that played
tackling.
exactly played this missing
You don't
tackle?
even gotta finish
This
tackling.
guy, this guy will wrap up. He doesn't miss many tackles, if at all. You
We
will
need that.
feel him. You will feel him on Sunday and then the days after because that's how much thump he's putting into you.
We
And
need that,
here's a guy
bro.
I got to watch a little bit in college. And so I'm excited that he gets added to our team. I think he's a guy that can play right away. I mean, the way the NFL is, you run a lot of three safety looks. He's a guy that can get into the mix because obviously you have Tyrann Mathieu and
Justin
Justin Reed,
Reed.
but you really don't have anything after that. You don't have any for sure thing. And so
Mhm.
if you tell me, you know, you can have Jonas Sanker coming down, you can have Tyrann Mathieu Roman, and we know as far as a guy that can take the ball away, I mean, he can do that. Last year he had about 5 or 6 interceptions dropped. Like,
Damn.
that hurt him last. That hurt. That's killing
But
him this whole season. But
Trey, he gonna fit right in with the Saints then. If he have five
yeah. No,
five
no, no.
picks
I'm
drop.
talking about I'm talking about Tyrann Matthew. So
Oh, all right.
I'm
Oh,
saying allowing Tyrann Matthew to be in that Roman role. He got it on his mind where he wants
mhm.
to be that guy that can take the ball away again and get that. And so now you got two guys in Jonas Sanker and Justin Reed that one can be a force for you this year, but you're also have somebody that you prepare for in the future that when Tyrann Matthew does retire, that's somebody that can take even more of a role into your defense with the development that I'm hoping he gets. But definitely a guy that I think has a lot of experience and will see playing time.
Speaking of future,
Mhm.
the Saints invested in Jordan Howden 2 years ago. He
He did.
had a chance this year with being the opposite safety of Tyrann Matthews, but didn't perform, I should say, well
Yeah.
enough to keep the job full time.
Hmm.
What's his future with the Saints? Does he
I think
convert to a depth piece, or does he have a chance to be the future safety next to Justin Reed when Tyron decides to wrap it up?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I definitely think him and Sanger are going to be competing for who gets on the field more often.
That third safety
But
spot.
yeah, but it's the NFL. I think you deal with injuries. I mean, we lost can't remember his last name, but we lost Will last year for what 6 games with a hamstring injury or something, and
Well,
he ends up leaving Will Harris, and he ends up going to the Jets in free agency. So we saw that hey, our secondary can really be decimated at times. So I don't think I think those are your 4 safety. We're probably gonna have 5 safeties because JT Gray and what he brings on special teams. Jonas Sanker is also a guy that can contribute on special teams as well. So I think Jordan Houghton has a role, but he definitely is going to have to show some level of improvement. But I can see Sanker being that guy that takes more of a consistent role next to Tyrann Mathieu and Justin Reed, and then ultimately replacing Tyrann Mathieu in the rotation.
okay. We'll move on to the Saints' fourth round pick, and let's scroll down for you guys. We addressed our oldness at the linebacker position, and we get Danny Stressman out of Oklahoma. Obviously, we have Demario, who's probably got 1 or 2 years left. Pete Warner has been
Mhm.
injury prone. We drafted a couple linebackers last year. Well,
Yeah,
not last year. Well, last year,
over the
but
past couple years, yeah,
yeah,
I know we drafted one last year.
yep. Over the past couple years, um, we like our guy Orgy, Anthony Orgy. We got DeMarco Jackson. That's some young guys
Mhm.
on our at least linebacker depth chart.
Yeah.
Do you like this pick?
I love it. I love it. I've been a high on Danny Stunsman for a while. Shout out to my boy C Van. He's a OU fan, so he been singing this dude praises as well as somebody to look out for. And the fact that we got him in the 4th round excites me. I think he just
Mhm.
helps in a number of ways. Again, you mentioned this with the defensive tackle pick. Our run defense was atrocious. And
Yes.
you are getting folks that, especially in that front 7, that are going to help that. They're going to set things right, restore order for what we were once in terms of run defense. If you can stop the run, then you can do much better. You're putting people in 3rd and longs, you can do much better in the pass rush. And so I think that's what the Saints are trying to do. Danny Stunsman, I mean, this is a guy, obviously a replacement for Demario at some point, but he's somebody that can see the field really soon. Um, P. Warner, we know with the injury issues, and he hasn't really been
Yes.
good or been himself since that groin injury in his second season. And so this is a guy that's a tackling machine. Coverage needs a little bit of work, but it's not as bad as people making it out to be. Like he played in the Big 12. You play linebacker in the Big 12, you know how to cover people because it's a pass happy league. And so I don't think it'll be as big of an adjustment as some might think it is. But he has all the tools, can also get after the passer. I mean, has the speed. People don't realize this dude was running down Jalen Milroe, who's probably the best athlete in this entire draft. So he has the athleticism and has that physicality that's really going to help the Saints. So even if he's not starting right away, I just think having him in that locker room and in those practices, that's going to make guys so much better. Um, and we knew we didn't really have a lot of depth in terms of known depth in production outside of our top 2 linebackers. So
Mhm.
adding him is going to be a plus, I think. And I think he's going to get utilized in different ways. Like, I think he's going to line up inside. I think there might be times where, hey, you put Demario on the edge because he's so good at rushing the passer just to give a good different look. And you move Danny inside, or you might put Danny on the outside and have him blitz from time to time. So I'm just interested to see how he fits with us and how he can carve out a role this season. But really good pick, really good player in my opinion.
Okay. Good value at 112 pick. At the 112 pick.
Mm-hmm.
One of your favorite picks here, Quincy Riley out of Louisville. We double dipped at Louisville as well. Seeing a lot of Tyler Shucks. So I assume when training camp comes around and all the media are out there, I'm going to see this guy catch a pick off show. I'm book it, Trey. I guarantee it. I'm willing to bet on it. Anybody who in the chat, but we pick up at we address the cornerback position. We lost great corners, man, this year.
Yeah.
And Paulson Adebo. Basically, we lost our two starters.
Yeah.
Paulson Adebo and Marshawn Lattimore trading him away. We drafted Kool-Aid last year.
Mm-hmm.
Alante plays the slot. We got Isaac Yedem back. And we
Mm-hmm.
addressed we have Rico Payton and Quincy
Yeah.
Riley comes in the round out the cornerback room. Let me see if I'm forgetting anybody. Let me go check the depth chart, but I think that's everybody. Um, got some undrafted free agents. Not going to mention those guys. But all right, that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't miss too many, but you like this pick at Louisville. They double dip with Texas and Louisville. What do you like about this 5'11" corner?
Man, one, I like the size.
Mm-hmm,
I think with this pick, you get your guy that's going to be starting opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry, which was something we were looking at or looking for right in this draft. It was like, hey, we got to figure out the cornerback depth. We hadn't necessarily, or we attacked it in free agency, but we didn't come out on the top end of that.
mm-hmm,
Lost out on the Charvarius Ward sweepstakes.
mm-hmm,
So to get a Quincy Riley, I think this is a guy that can slot right in next to Kool-Aid McKinstry, which moves Alante Taylor back to where I think he does well in that
mm-hmm,
star position, where he was making a lot of plays early last year, and now he can focus on that. Um, and so I think we, in a way, we kind of rounded out our secondary, which was really good. And I think we added depth to our front seven. So uh, I think it was a good draft defensively, but he's going to be good, man. Like, very physical corner. Didn't get thrown at a ton in college, so the interception numbers aren't going to like wow you. But I think if he's tested or if Kool-Aid's tested, that's when we can really get going and kind of start to see us, uh, continue to take the ball away. I think that's one thing I hope we don't miss with Da and Joe Woods being gone is that
uh-huh,
especially with Joe Woods coming in, like there was an attention to detail with taking the ball away, and the Saints consistently found themselves in top 10 and top 5 in terms of takeaways.
uh-huh.
So hoping with Brandon Staley, we continue to see that trajectory and give the ball to our offense in positive situations. So, and by the way, the Bucks just blew a 5-point lead with 30 seconds left. They
Hey,
lost
hey,
again.
bruh.
So,
You you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say I'm looking over here at my phone, and the Bucks just got eliminated, and
mhm,
the Pistons in the Knicks series has been dead tight, bro. Like
mhm,
every game, like it's 50-49 at halftime right now. Honestly, everybody know it should be 2-2 right now because of that missed
mhm.
foul call on Tim Hardaway. But that's been a good old series, man. Celtics looking to close out the Magic, and we got the brawl between the Clippers and the Nuggets as well coming up at 9. But man, um, we can touch on the last three picks: one in the sixth round, two in the seventh round.
I
But
mean,
we
we
do
could
got
just
some.
yeah. Devin
Uh,
Neal,
yeah, I know you
great.
want to touch on the running back though. You love that pick, so go ahead.
Devin Neal, running back too. I think that if he can stay healthy, I think he slots in.
Mm-hmm.
He's really a bell cow, and I think that's something that people don't realize about him. Like he's somebody that's a 3-down back, which no disrespect to Alvin
Kamara needs
Kamara,
that.
he's not a
Kamara needs
three
that.
down back, and
Yes.
so I think you're bringing in somebody that can theoretically carry the load if you want to kind of reduce a little bit what AK does, but I don't think you want to do that this year, especially in a new regime. You want to get what you can get out of Alvin Kamara because he's a really great player. But Devin Neal is going to be really good. Can kind of spell Alvin Kamara, but I think he's going to be utilized. And there's a lot more he can offer as a pass catcher that I don't think was featured that much at Kansas just because of how important he was as a runner. But to see him open up his game in this offense, it's going to be really exciting to see. And these last two picks, man, they're just washes. I mean, for Lil Diggs, I'm more familiar with. Matavaro, I think he had 500 some receiving yards last year at tight end, which is really good. But 7th round tight end, like we didn't really attack that
I
position like I
yeah.
thought we would in the draft. Edge, because they have him listed as a DN, but he played like he stood up and rushed, like he was a stand up pass rusher for
Mhm.
Syracuse. Not a quick, not a quick guy. Definitely big. A lot smaller than our normal mold of edge rusher,
Mhm.
but still kind of. I'm gonna use my strength to get to the quarterback as opposed to having that quick first step. So I'm interested to see if there's somehow, because we don't have a lot of depth at edge, if that's somewhere where he finds his home, maybe gets a little bit smaller, works on his quickness and gets utilized. Because we kind of got to use all 9 of these guys if we can. It would be great, but um, you know, I would say my main disappointment, like picks aside, my main disappointment is that we didn't come out of this draft with the pass catcher, and we didn't come out of this draft with the true edge rusher.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's going to be the two biggest, um, I guess, two biggest hills to climb for us on both sides of the ball. So interested to see what we do post draft in terms of free agency, but those areas.
Oh, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the running back. Obviously, that's the more spicy position, man. You know, I was
Mm-hmm.
big on my guy Kendry. Showed some little flashes, but got injured. But I think Kellen Moore gonna have my guy right this year, man. This the year when Dylan's at it. He can't ruin my guy no more. He was hating on him. So we gonna see this year at the running back position. Obviously, Alvin is declining. He didn't get that 1,000 yard rushing season again. I thought he was gonna play and try to get those, I think 40 yards.
Yeah,
But
some.
we're gonna move on to the NBA and we're gonna touch on the Bucks who just lost. Gary Trent went off though. This man went
But
crazy this
had the
game. He had
but
30.
yeah, but he had the play that lost it for him.
Hey, you can take the good with the bad. He filled in for the Dame. That he shot 17 3-pointers. Golly. He had 33, had more than Giannis in a closeout game, and he shot
Mm-hmm.
more than Giannis. Giannis had 30, 20, and 13.
Yeah, man. Hey, I
Man.
had the game on the peripheral, so they were up
Mhm.
118, 114. They gave up a three. And
And
obviously it's the
Tyrese hit
foul
a two.
game, but Pacers just kind of trapped. They didn't foul right away. They passed it the Gary Trent Jr. in the corner,
Mhm.
and he dropped the ball that went between his legs. And then they gave up an easy layup to Halliburton on the
Mhm.
other end, and that's how they won the game. So, you know, Pop getting ready. We getting him healthy, We getting him healthy because he got a few phone calls to make. Uh,
You trying to
so
get
so
Giannis over there with Wimby?
yeah, man, we gotta see how this lottery go, man.
You trying
Man,
to get
if
that
they
done this year?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
All right.
man, look.
This the perfect year. Dame, sorry, sadly, but Dame tore his ACL as we talking about the Bucks as well. Lillard
Mm-hmm.
tore his not ACL, Achilles. He tore his Achilles. Let me get this Saints thing off the screen. Lillard tore his Achilles. Um, 35 years old, torn Achilles. It's May, right? Well, April. Does he play
Yeah,
next year?
I don't think so.
Is there a reason to play?
There isn't. I
All
mean the
right.
money, but you get that either way, right?
Well, yeah,
Like,
this is guaranteed. This ain't the NFL. The money's in his
yeah.
pocket. So I think we might after this Achilles, not the foresight Lillard's career, but we might only see probably about a couple more years of Lillard after this
But remember
injury,
last
man.
year, he had he had some tightness in it, and that's
He
how
been
he missed the series last year with it. So for
yep,
it to essentially tear this time,
yep. Especially
mm,
coming off the blood clots, which is non like physical injury, but obviously
mhm.
it's inside of you can't control that. But the Bucks are in for a long off season, man. There's gonna hear a lot of trade rumors, a lot of quotes. You know, we've been called this about Giannis saying all that foolish stuff.
Mhm.
We definitely gonna hear some quotables about him in the exit interview, and maybe he might have
Mhm.
some quotes for us during his post game conference. You know, he went off last year about
Yeah.
excuse me how it's not a failure if we don't win the championship. He went off last year, but we gonna see this year. What he says. They started this game off 13-0 though, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
So it was there for the taking. Obviously his team wasn't up to par, but this is what 4 years in a row where they're out in the first round again.
Mhm.
So ever since that championship, and hasn't been too great, and a lot of people believe. Excuse me, y'all. My headphones dropped out. A lot of people believe that they lucked up with that championship by the Nets being hurt. So
I'm gonna tell you,
you know,
I
injuries
happen to have
happen.
a first place. Injuries happen. I mean,
Right.
Giannis's foot. I mean, I thought. I mean, I'm gonna
Safety
say this.
foot.
I thought it was a dirty play. You walked up under Kyrie after a
Yeah.
layup.
Yeah, that
Then
sealed the
it's
series.
Kyrie. That sealed it really.
Mm-hmm.
And then next series, right? They play against the Hawks and Trey Young. Like, I mean, because I
Who
was a
shouldn't have
Hawks
been there?
team at that time. Like, bro, there was time like the Hawks looked like the better team. Like the Bucks looked like they didn't belong on the same court as the
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta Hawks. Trey Young nails a three, is backing up, and the referee is in the way, and he tweaks his ankle on the referee's foot.
Mm.
Done. So it
Unfortunate
kind of was
circumstance.
that.
It's like you have luck on your side one year, and
Yeah,
they had the luck that year, man. But granted, he played amazing in the finals after those two
he
losses. He
did,
had a great
and he
closeout
was hurt
game,
himself.
free throw, 50-point closeout game to seal the championship. I think they beat the Suns 4 times in a row to finish that
Yep.
series off. But um we can talk about Nugget. We can move on to Nuggets Clippers now. We'll
Mm-hmm.
save the where Giannis is going for the summer.
Yeah,
Um, talk about the Clippers and the Nuggets, which is a great series. In the last game ended as crazy as it could. It came down literally to the last millisecond, Trey. Not last second, last millisecond of. That's something that happens once every 25 years. That's something that happened on the park that nobody believe when you go tell them. Game 5. Do you feel whoever wins games 5 wins this series?
I do, I do.
Okay.
And in the Nuggets, they got to put it together. I feel like there's been so many stretches where the Clippers have just been a better team,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason the Nuggets just even
Find a
like
way.
game 4, they had a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter and blew it and had to fight for their lives to win the game.
Yeah.
And usually when you win on something like that, it's always interesting to see how you bounce back. Now, luckily for them, they're at home, so maybe that gives them a little bit of an advantage. But if they allow the Clippers to win this game, it's over. Like the Clippers are not going back to the Denver. I've seen. Look, we can say what we want about James Harden and all that, but I've seen Kawhi Leonard in big games, and I can tell you, if he's healthy, they're not going back to Denver if the Clippers win this game because he's coming out for blood tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to see how they manage. But Denver's gonna have to win the non-Jokic minutes. I think they've kind of been iffy there. They've been that way all season, but you're gonna have to because the Clippers they have a really good team, man. Like they're deep, and Kawhi or James are on the court at all times. So they're gonna always keep that pressure on you as a defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's probably one of the better series. I hope it goes
Yeah.
7 though. I hope
Yeah.
Denver wins tonight. Clippers win game 6, and this one goes 7. Because
I think this one will go 7, man. I think the Clippers should be up 3-1 because I think they should have won that first game. They blew that game.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I will say this: the Nuggets, man, they have, even though some of their champions are gone, man, you could tell they still have the best player
Yeah,
in the world, because it's just, I don't think if you put any other like player on this team,
me
they wouldn't
too.
have a chance. Like it's just, if like you swap Giannis with Jokic, this series wouldn't be like
Mm-mm.
close at all. Like it's just
I agree.
he just makes everything flow for that team, and their role players make timely shots. Michael Porter make timely
Mhm.
shots. Aaron Gordon, they make timely
Well, even
plays.
Russ making timely shots right
Yes,
now.
timely. Russ been showing
But
up, hitting some big open threes. As much as bonehead plays he made in the regular season, he hasn't made too many in this series. So
mhm.
that's
But
all
I'm
that
gonna say
counts,
this,
man.
bro. As phenomenal of a player as Nikola Jokic is, they're gonna go as far as Jamal Murray. He's been kind of missing.
And
Like he
that's
got to
normal
step
when he's
up.
not playing the Lakers.
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
to
bro,
step
he
up.
goes. He come and goes, bro. And that's a reason why I don't see them making it out of the second round.
Mhm.
I I have the Clippers winning this series.
Okay.
Hopefully post James hopefully normal playoff Harden don't show up for them, and that's gonna ruin my pick. He showed up in I forgot what game it was where Kawhi was rolling. Kawhi, I think he had what 39. They won that game.
Mhm.
He showed up that game. It was hidden though because Kawhi was rolling,
Yeah.
but nobody noticed because they won that game. But I watch for tendencies even when a team wins or loses
Yeah.
because I like to see how a player is moving throughout the game even when their shot's not rolling in. When that shot not rolling, the ball seems to just fall out of James Harden's hands sometimes with those turnovers. But
Mhm.
we're gonna get to the last thing and then we're gonna get out of here, y'all, because it's getting a little late. We've been
Yeah.
rolling. We're gonna get down to should I say my Lakes? Down 3-1, man. And Jaden McDaniel, they and Julius Randle. I have to mention Julius because
Mhm.
he's balling.
Mhm.
They putting that belt to the behind right now, man. And I shouldn't say belt to behind because these games are
It's
close
been
as
good
well
game. It's
too.
been really good games. Yeah.
All the playoffs been pretty good, man, except for that Cleveland Miami series.
Yeah.
Even Memphis put up a fight the last two games.
Yeah. We gotta
So
destroy the play in, man. That's all that is. Like 37 win teams shouldn't be in the playoffs. That's
yeah,
what it
they
is.
got killed. But down 3-1. Is it over for the Lakers for you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it is. I think it's hard to win in the playoffs when you have no bench and no bigs.
Mhm.
Um,
And
some
literally
teams
no
they have a
bench.
bench with no
JJ
bigs,
played nobody on the bench in the
right?
second half.
But even if he spelled minutes, like who is that person on your bench that can come in
I
and
think
just
he
change the
has
floor,
players on the
right?
bench who can play though.
Like, but I mean, like you saw
I know
Minnesota,
what you're saying.
like
Like change. I know what
Minnesota
you're
can
saying. Change the
survive,
type
right?
of game.
Like Minnesota can survive stretches without Julius Randle and on the court at the same time because they might have a Nas Reed that can come in. And Austin Reed's from a just a third person standpoint supposed to be that guy, but even coming off the bench, who is that person that I can run offense through that isn't LeBron or Luca or has to get their offense generated by LeBron or Luca? And they don't have that. And I mean,
I
it is what it is. So it's hard. Like you saw them have stretches of large leads, like double
mhm.
digit leads, and
Open
couldn't
up with
keep it
10.
because the Timberwolves, they just had a good second unit that could come in and dig at it and then give their stars a little chance to rest and just take over. And that's what they were able to do. That's what they've
Mhm.
been able to do in some of these close games. But to be quite honest with you, I think everybody's looking at the defensive end as to why the Lakers are in this predicament and obviously blaming Luka and Austin Reeves for being traffic cones. But I think JJ Redick has a part to play in this,
Yeah,
especially
he
that
does.
last game. I mean, it wasn't even so much the amount of time he played, guys. I think when you have to win, you know you can't go down 3-1. You have to do that. But I felt like I don't care. I'm not taking 23 out of my offense. Like, and I think he took LeBron. I think he took four players out of the offense. Like
Yes, yes, yes,
you're
yes.
running Luca ISO ball, and here's my thing.
Switch hunting.
I will never defer to a style of basketball that doesn't win championships. Like LeBron, I've seen LeBron's way win championships. I've seen Steph's way win championships. I've seen KD's way win championships. I have yet to see set the screen, get me on a
Get the
mismatch
switch.
that I
Yep.
want, and let me just dribble down and walk them down.
Yes.
especially when you happen to be the worst defender on the court. Because all we're going to do is, yeah, we'll let you work. We'll let you work all you want to. And then guess what? On the other end, you got to guard us. So now you're doing double time.
And
And
go
and I
ahead,
felt like it
finish.
just took so many people out the game. Like I think it took LeBron out of the game. I think it took Austin Reeves out of the game. Rui had it going from three that night. I think it
Uh-huh.
took him out of the game. Like you can't play losing basketball and expect to win games.
Yes.
And I think that's where you're supposed to lean on your champion. And JJ didn't lean on his champion in that time. Not saying LeBron had to run the offense, but he got to touch the ball.
He has to be featured. That's what you said.
Exactly.
But I'll say this: the switch hunting works when you're switching on to a literal mismatch. You cannot switch Luca on to Julius Randle, Nas Reed. He doesn't have the quickness over those guys, and they're basically there with the same strength with each other. If you're switching them on to Mike Conley, Nikhil Alexander Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, where he had Rudy Gobert sometimes, even though Rudy Gobert holds his own sometimes on that perimeter because he rather give up the jumper than let you get past him. But switching them on to Julius Randle and Nas Reed is not a good, even though they're not amazing defenders, it's not a great matchup because Luka is not a guard who's gonna blow past you.
Right. And they're just as strong.
Yes, so you're not gonna put them down in the paint and throw the little baby hook over that you do to the guards. Another thing, when you have, we know the defense of Luka is bad. His on-ball defense, you can live with sometimes when he's checking somebody like a Jaden McDaniels who doesn't really do too much on ball. But what kills him is his off-ball defense, his lack of just attention to detail. They had a play
and everything.
Yes, like just no will to help your teammates out. And it's so demoralizing when you see LeBron out there, 40 years old. He can focus more on defense now because Luka's there to take over the offense. Austin is being featured more. They had a play when LeBron was guarding Ant. Great job on Ant. Ant hit him with a few different misdirection moves, but LeBron was there. Ant went up for the jump shot. LeBron's there. Lucas is under the basket,
just looking,
just staring. And
Anthony Edwards, right behind him.
Anthony Edwards threw it right to his man right behind him. And LeBron looked back. And I told you, I watched guys. LeBron looked back and like when you go all out on defense, and like LeBron would have lived with him making a jumper. But when you go all out on defense and you see somebody wide open behind you, and then you got to come back down the floor, and what you said, you got to watch him work, boom, boom, boom. And LeBron has been through his career. He let his teammates work. He'll go on the other side of the court and let Kyrie ISO and take the 3 over Curry to win the finals. He'll let D-Wade get in his mid-range bag like that. He doesn't mind taking a break on offense. I know he don't mind, not since he's 40. But you gonna put some defense in. Kyrie ain't the greatest defender, but he ain't leaving nobody open. Playoff time, like he's gonna put in the effort. Like he took the challenge to literally guard Steph Curry during the finals when Curry guarded J.R. Smith. Look, Kyrie guarded him, matched up with him all the time. So that's why I think it will fail at. I'm not.
And that's the
I
thing.
think Luka has to take some more pride on that off-ball defense.
Effort. And like people keep and they're like, oh yeah, he got to get in the best shape. It's not a shape thing.
Yes.
It's a want. Like, yes, he have to get in shape. Yes. But it's a want. I don't care if he dropped 100 pounds. Like, if he doesn't want to play defense, he's not gonna want to play defense.
Yeah.
Like that's just the truth of the matter. And that's his issue. Like people talk about Trae Young and his defense, but like he always end up leading the league in steals or top 5, top 10. Because there's a level of effort. At some point, it's just look, bro, I'm 6 foot. I can only do so much on defense.
Right.
I can live with that.
Exactly. I'm 6 foot, I'm 160 pounds. Like man, I can't do much.
You 6, 7. Like if you just spread your hands out, like now I'm forcing you got to use your body. Now I'm 6'7", 230, 240. Well, I'm big too, so you just can't push me around either. But and then it's the lack of effort on defense. Then it's oh my God, he doesn't get a foul call and he's sitting down. Everybody's running down the floor, and it's like, bro,
that's my, that's been my
under
pet
some of my tweets, bro. I was like, I just need once. I just need once. They can do it when they sitting down. We can catch the cameo because y'all know how LeBron be looking at his teammates when he won't trade your ass, and he just say, "Bro, doing that dumb shit is why Nico traded your ass." Like I just need him to say that. I guarantee you. You asked me, do the Lakers have a chance? I guarantee you, if LeBron say that phrase or something similar to it,
He gonna
I
wake up.
guarantee you they roll it off. I
I'm
guarantee you
gonna
they
tell. I'm
roll
gonna
it
tell
off.
you this. I To answer my own question, I do still think they have a chance. Now it ain't a
Mhm.
big chance, but a chance is a chance.
Mm.
And it's the
Chance
first
is good.
round. It's the first round, and like you said, I don't want to be a punching bag on Luca, but hey, I watch the games, and and JJ Redick does deserve the blame because you got a 10-point lead in a fourth quarter, and you don't give none of your guys a rest. You play the same five. You could
Mhm.
throw Gabe Vincent out there to spare a minute, spare some minutes for whoever, Luca, LeBron, or Austin Reeves. You could throw Jared Vanderbilt out there to guard Ant because Ant didn't take a
Yeah,
rest either.
right.
The whole second half. You could throw Jared Vanderbilt out there like us to do
But
something.
here's the
And
thing.
Jackson Hayes playing 4 minutes. It it's we don't that don't make any sense. You gonna
And
play
if
him
there was
0 minutes or not? Or play him minutes.
right. And if there was anybody to rest, hell, I would have just said, "Hey, Luca, take a breather," because now I can run. Like Brian don't even have to like literally run. Like he just back it down, just play
Yeah, he
off.
playing he
Just
playing unk ball, unk ball.
back it down, and then throw it to wide open because you're not about to single cover him. You're
He
gonna have to
shot
double him.
18 free throws
So
last
he was
game.
getting to the line,
LeBron.
which which further creates or highlights the issue of why is he not getting the ball. Like
Yes, 0
it
points in
was
the fourth.
either you're getting a good shot or he's going to the free throw line. That was
Yes.
literally what was happening every time he touched the ball. You were going to get
Yes.
a good shot or he was going to the free throw line. And
Mhm.
you just said, let's not do that anymore. And
I
as much as we can blame the five guys on the court
yeah.
and blame Luca and blame LeBron because of their star power, that comes from coaching. That has to
Yes.
you have to say,
And
look, man, we gotta start running some sets. We gotta start making them move. Like
and
you
it's
won't know
crazy
how Ant
because
had enough energy because he didn't have to work. I'm just
man,
watching you.
it is crazy because when you run a set, you get a Rui 3 down the stretch, a wide open Rui 3. Like
And
you get the switch, you penetrate, you get a Rui 3 wide open after all the switch hunting, and you're like, hey, like when does the coaching come into tech where you like, hey, anybody on the coaching staff, this not working. We in a drought, we in the offensive drought. We had a 10-point lead, they dwindling it down to 2. Like we could talk about all the refs, missed foul calls. It happens. Yes, there was some blown calls, but
mhm,
that game shouldn't have been lost, and y'all just wasted 2 LeBron toughest
masterpieces, right?
game. Like he didn't score in the fourth
Mhm.
this game, and everybody who watched the game literally like, oh, LeBron had a great game. He was everywhere defensively, and obviously the ball didn't find him, which is a point to LeBron. He's been in the league 22 years. He got to go get the ball sometime, even if
Yeah.
Luka's out there playing with it. But 39 last game, well, 2 games ago, 27 this game with amazing defense in both losses. So you only can ask for more from your stars, and JJ Redick, you got
Mhm.
to be better, man. You got to trust your guys on the bench, even if you don't trust them.
Yep.
Gabe Vincent, he earned some trust with Miami, bro. Jared
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, he could go out there and he fouls a lot, but he could go out there and change the tempo with his defensive pressure on whoever he's guarding the ball handler at.
And to your point, it's like the lead's going down. At some point, you got to trade something. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're not getting enough offense,
Right.
mainly because we're not going to our probably best off. I would say Luka's still the best offensive player, but a guy that has a guard
He's
like
one
LeBron.
dimensional though.
Yeah.
LeBron scores
So
different ways.
in different
Luca
ways.
is one way.
So I'm like, I would. That's why I say I would have took Luka out and just said, hey, look, we're gonna give you a break, but we gotta get somebody that's gonna play some defense in here.
Yes.
Brian, you running point, you and Austin, we running the 2-man game,
Yes,
and
Gabe be
everybody else,
solid.
hey,
Yeah, Gabe
Rui,
be solid. Get Jackson Hayes in there
Gabe,
for some size, and Rui
Gabe hit your
Hachimura.
threes, Rui hit your threes, Vanderbilt be in a dunker spot. Like,
Yes,
because at that point, Rudy was off the game too. So it ain't like Minnesota had rim protection. So I'm
right.
really attacking the rim now.
Yeah,
Like,
so
but
that's what I think, man. JJ Redick, if you're gonna play Jackson Hayes, man, play the man. Stop
playing.
playing. Stop starting the man for 2 minutes and yanking him as soon as he out. Because Rudy Gobert over there either. He's not an offensive threat at all. The Timberwolves don't look at him. They look at him for offensive rebounds and
And he
for
can
him to
kill
kick it
them.
back out. Yeah.
He had like
So
11
if you're
offensive
gonna
boards
play,
or something like that.
yeah, you're gonna play Jackson Hayes. I know he's not that great, but he's gonna give you energy, a couple stupid fouls, but he's gonna give you some size to grab some rebounds or at least box out.
Don't they have Alex Len too?
Yeah, but he's just don't
I
even
mean, I
ask
know, but
about
I
him,
mean,
brother.
he's 7 feet. He can take
7
space.
feet, but he Trey, you'll do better to hear about that, brother. Stonewall. But man, this is the Bayou Ballers podcast, brother. Great show, man. I'm glad for all you guys tuning in and talk some NBA, talk some Saints draft recap. Um, we're gonna keep updating y'all as the playoffs go on. We're gonna have to make we didn't make our picks, but we're gonna make round 2 picks. When the
Yeah.
first round over, we're gonna make round 2 picks. And we're gonna go from there after each round is over. We're gonna make our picks. But any last words from brother?
Nah, man. Look, don't ask me don't ask me no Saints questions until the fall. I don't want to see nothing talking about Shough QB1 or Rattler QB1 and we going to Super Bowl. Let's figure out what the hell our team even looked like, and then we'll give evaluations. Then I already got people asking me about 2026 prospects. I'm like, bro, I don't even like the spring portal just closed. I'm trying to figure out what rosters look like right now.
Hold up.
We
Look,
talking about college football,
I'm
but
on clips tree, and they
uh,
got. I'm looking at a clip of Giannis arguing with fans after he get
yeah,
arguing with
that's Halliburton daddy.
Oh Lord, Halle didn't started
Hey,
some shit. He
hey,
even got
Wimby not gonna let that happen to you no more, Giannis.
You're
But
right. He ain't gonna even be in the playoffs to do that. So
But
good job.
WNBA season is about to kick off.
Yep.
Y'all make sure y'all support women's basketball because this is going to be an even better year than it was last year. So excited to see that being kicked off. And then obviously with the NBA, this is probably the best. Like I don't like. Yeah, there's been some sweeps, a few gentlemen sweeps, but this is probably one of the best first round. Like as far as series wise that we've
Mhm.
seen. Like even some of the sweeps and gentlemen sweeps. Well, not the sweeps because Miami got killed. But
Yeah. Other than
everybody else,
Miami, the series was good.
thank y'all for
Yeah.
showing up to the playoffs, even if it didn't end the way you wanted to end. But it's been some really,
Yes.
really good games going down to the wire.
Mhm. Okay, y'all. Bayou Ballers podcast. I'm gonna give me a late night gym session in. Y'all have a good night and tune into the NBA playoffs tonight, man. We out.